More victims speaking out as a man is accused of carrying out stem cell treatments without a license. How one family says it is costing them thousands. And the Utah snowpack struggling with the lack of snow. What the Utah Division of Water Resources says about the outlook ahead and for the rest of the season. And this morning, a Utah's family's answer to that simple question going viral. How they hoped a simple hashtag will help bring some joy to their daughter.
Live and streaming, this is KSL News Now.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us. It is Friday. We're all happy about that. I'm Lori Richard. Matt Johnson is here with us. Matt, let's talk about the forecast right now because it is cooler in St. George than it is here in Salt Lake City.
By a long shot. It's in the 30s down there. It's in the upper 50s here in Salt Lake City. Let me show you what we're working with out there. And that is very, very mild weather. Clouds today, but then showers are possible by this evening. So over the weekend, start and stop rain. And then I've got temperatures running way too warm. I mean, 15 to 20 above the normal today. That should extend through the 7-day period. Christmas Eve, I got a storm dialed up for you. So please be aware, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, traveling in the west, it's going to be a little inclement. Currently, 57 in Salt Lake City. The record for the date, the record high, my friends, is 61 from 1917. So we're now 4 degrees from the record high, and the sun's not even up yet. 54 in Delta and 34 in Blanding. St. George is now down to 36. So, very mild start this morning, near record levels for the AM. You move into the afternoon and evening, more 50s. We might even break a record today, Lori.
All right, Matt, thank you. This morning, the family of a man found dead in Sugar House say that there is still, quote, unfinished business after police made an arrest in his murder. Nathaniel Stockton was arrested days after Steve Callis was found shot just outside of his RV. According to jail documents, a surveillance camera recorded a dispute police believe was over some sort of debt between the two. The Callis' family says they do not think Stockton was working alone. Stockton was arrested after a tip came in to police, and Callis' family hopes that more tips could shed light on what exactly happened that night. Police say anyone with additional information is asked to contact Salt Lake City Police. Attorneys from the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk want a prosecutor disqualified from his murder case. Tyler Robinson's defense team says a Utah County attorney is related to a witness in the case. 22-year-old Robinson is facing a potential death sentence if convicted of Kirk's murder. A recently filed motion states the attorney told others in his office and the defense about a family member who was there that day and witnessed the shooting. Robinson's attorneys believe the conflict of interest violates Robinson's right to due process. Court hearings to address the matter are scheduled for December 29th and January 16th. Also back in court is this man, Ryan Michael Bate, the man accused of killing 2 Tremont police officers. He was in court Thursday for a scheduling conference. A preliminary hearing was set for June. We now know the name of the woman who was hit and killed in a crosswalk in Price. Price police say 64-year-old Linda Garvin died at the hospital after a car hit her while she was crossing the street at 500 North and 300 East. Officers say that driver was a teenage boy and that he stayed at the scene to cooperate with police. Investigators say Garvin was a 4th grade teacher at Castle Heights Elementary School. New developments this morning about a Springville City police officer accused of driving under the influence. Springville City has released a statement on this, saying in part, Officer Tusher was placed on leave without pay and will remain off duty pending disciplinary action or termination. Larry Tusher was arrested after jail records show he admitted to drinking before driving his city-owned vehicle into work. A fellow sergeant reported Tusher to the Utah Highway Patrol. A jury has sided against a Utah plastic surgeon facing multiple malpractice lawsuits. In this case, Michael Moore is accused of failing to properly prepare a woman for a tummy tuck and he performed back in 2022 and did not follow up after she reported scarring and an infection. This month, a jury awarded that patient $900,000. It's one of several lawsuits Moore is facing. This summer, federal charges were dropped against him. He was accused of giving out fake COVID vaccination cards. We're getting a look at newly released information about ICE arrests made right here in Utah. The newly released numbers show, ICE numbers show through mid-October. It says federal immigration authorities arrested 118 people in September. That is 5 times the number of arrests made during the first half of the year and 50 times the average during President Biden's term. Immigration attorneys say they're seeing more arrests during traffic stops and late-night raids in Utah. Law enforcement experts told the Deseret News that while efforts have increased under President Trump's direction, the way these arrests are made is typical for Border Patrol, including arrests of people without criminal records. A Nevada man is sentenced to more than a decade behind bars after he admitted to distributing fentanyl that led to the death of a Utah woman. 41-year-old Brian McMahon of Las Vegas was charged last February with distribution of fentanyl, resulting in a death. He pleaded guilty to a reduced charge in September and was just sentenced to 17 years in prison for that crime. Prosecutors say McMahon mailed an envelope to the unnamed victim with at least 4 oxycodone pills that were laced with fentanyl. After that package arrived, McMahon tried to reach the victim several times, but it was too late. She was later found unresponsive at her home. The U.S. Attorney for Utah is using this case as a reminder to anyone that just a single pill can kill. Advocates with the Salt Lake Valley Coalition read nearly 100 names out at a vigil dedicated to the homeless individuals who died in Salt Lake County this year. Officials hosted that event as close to the winter solstice as possible, which is Sunday. That's the longest period of darkness and the shortest period of daylight of the year. At that vigil, the coalition also collected donations of money, blankets, coats, and other winter clothing. The state of Utah only recently started collecting homeless fatality data. They found that the leading cause of death was a chronic illness like heart disease, as well as diabetes. A new state wildfire map is outlining where fire danger is the highest in the state and which homes have the most risk. The Utah Division of Forestry, Fire and State Lands created that map based on things like weather patterns, terrain, vegetation, and wildfire likelihood. It shows about 60,000 structures in urban areas are within the highest risk category.
People don't really think about wildfire until it's at their doorstep, and this is bringing it to their doorstep.
Fire managers say this single map provides more clarity instead of the multiple models used by insurance companies. Speaking of insurance companies, Matt, one declined to cover me because they said I was in a wildfire zone. So It's difficult for some homeowners, depending on where you live, to get insurance on your home if you live too close to those zones.
Yep, that urban wildfire interface is it's big here in Utah, especially if you're up on the benches. Wanted to show you the 24-hour temperature change map. We are now warmer by 28 degrees right now compared to yesterday at the very same hour. 19 warmer in Cedar, the same in Milford, 15 warmer in Ogden. This is simply because we've got a south breeze and we've got clouds. So the temperatures are extremely warm for this time of day. Southern Idaho's got a couple of showers waiting on that cold front. So we'll continue to see warming temperatures, cloudy skies, southerly breezes through the afternoon. It's not until the evening that we get a cold front. So I've got valley rain and mountain snow expected this evening, 5, 6, 7 o'clock. You push it into 1 a.m. Saturday morning, we get a little bit of a break, but I think the showers will return later in the morning Saturday. So for today, these showers don't show up until later this evening unless you live along that Idaho border. Lori, we got to talk 7 day, and that's more warm weather in just a few.
All right, and in that 7 day is Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, so we'll check back in with you. An update to our top story we brought you yesterday morning. The family of another possible victim of an alleged scheme involving stem cell treatments has come forward. That boy's mother says her son had multiple painful procedures, only to find out years later it was done by someone with a revoked medical license. Jody McCoy says she immediately recognized Randy Relea from KSL's reporting.
I was watching the news a little bit longer and noticed that name, Randy, we were there. I don't understand how you could take money from people when you're not licensed.
McCoy says, like in our first story, she thought Relea was licensed when she went to him looking for alternative treatments for her son who was battling cancer. Unfortunately, that procedure never worked. Years later, McCoy now believes her son is a victim of an alleged scheme. The Utah Attorney General's office, I should say, filed charges against Relea, his wife, and his partner, Dr. Paul Winterton, for unlawful activity. The small ski town of Bryan Head could be getting a little bit bigger as Congress advances a proposal to transfer forest land. The Senate Energy and Natural Resource Committee advanced a bill this week allowing 24 acres of federally owned land to be used for public purposes. It was spearheaded by Republican Senator Mike Lee, who says it will help with upgrades to aging infrastructure near the ski resort. But conservation groups argue the bill is too vague, saying it would set a precedent to give away public lands without public input. Drivers have a little bit longer to park at the Matheson Courthouse in Salt Lake City if you have a disability placard or license plate. Utah's court system is ending public parking at the beginning of the year, but they say they're making a slight tweak to allow drivers or passengers with a disability to park closer to the building. Officials announced the end to public parking in an effort to increase security around the building. Visitors are asked to use street parking or take transit to reach the courthouse. Utah health leaders working to strengthen relationships between parents and their children with this new campaign. The Utah Department of Health and Human Services says a recent survey showed about 90% of parents felt that their kids were comfortable expressing their emotions, but the number of kids actually comfortable was dramatically less. In the annual SHARP survey, nearly 40% of severely distressed kids reported not talking to anyone. And from those who did talk with someone, only 42% spoke with a parent.
You need to make sure that your kid knows that they are the most important. They need to know that you are that home base that they can come to.
To help shrink that gap, the new chat campaign coaches parents on finding better ways to improve the relationships with their children. Well, if you're looking for a way to give during the holidays, we have an easy option that really helps people who are in need. Today, the Road Home is holding its annual Holiday Mediathon to raise money for the homeless and its shelter programs. And news specialist Brian Carlson has been live there this morning, all morning long. Brian, we know there's a big need right now, and we're all coming together to try to fill that gap.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you have everybody coming here together. Let me just kind of give you a little bit of a tour here. So the Road Home Mediathon, just outside the Road Home in Midvale, you've got X96 live on the radio, the Mix 101. You've got KSL Sports Zone. They're just getting into the groove here this morning. The Arrow 103.5, and the list goes on and on down here with KSL Radio. You've got Andy Farnsworth down there waving at us. Fox 13's over here this morning, so you have TV, radio, all kind of coming together to help raise money here for the Road Home. To give you a sense for the need they have, why we're all doing this together, I've got Michelle Flynn, the executive director here for the Road Home, with us this morning. Morning. Good to have you with us this morning.
Oh, it's great to have you here.
We got a media army here today.
Yes, we do. All the support, bringing all the support to the work that our agency does.
And then we got Santa just over our shoulder right here. He's also doing some social media while we're talking. Why is this such a big deal? We have all these people coming together to help the Road Home.
This is an incredible opportunity for people to learn more about homelessness in our community, to understand the help that the Road Home brings, and to bring us support. Learn about volunteering, providing donations. Come down and drop something off this morning that's on our needs list, and meet one of your favorite DJs.
Yeah, so obviously there's a need here this morning to be able to help. Describe that need at the Road Home.
Well, we're here at the site of one of our family shelter facilities. We have 2 of those now, serving over 100 families and over 200 children last night with emergency shelter. That is the key to bringing people in, but our mission really is to help those families get back into their own home. Have those kids have their own place to come home to and do their homework. Have the parents have the stability and the income and the support that they need to succeed.
And why is today such an important day to try to raise money to be able to support those families and those programs?
You know, this is the time of the year where we get the most donations, and these donations help us throughout the year. We spread the resources that we get now, the funds that we get now, blankets, the coats, the diapers that we get now to last us throughout the rest of the year. So it's a crucial time for us.
And I understand throughout the course of the year, roughly 8,000 families, 8,000 people, including 2,000 children, relied on the Road Home services?
That's right. Throughout the course of the year, people move in and out, don't stay for very long. So we're always here to have that door open and be here for that, to meet that need in the community.
And then capitalizing on this moment where you have all of the media coming together to raise money, it's not just the TV people who are kind of coming together and the radio people, but you have the Huntsman Family Foundation is matching any of those donations today. Kind of where are we at with donations, and what kind of donations are you hoping to be able to get with that match?
The Huntsman family has been a supporter of this for 15 years, and they will match up to $1 million in donations. Today's our big day. Today's the day we really want to see people here come down and visit us, to donate and really help us meet that goal.
And last check, we were just doing this before we went on air here, $530,000 has been raised so far, so that's going to be matched as long as we can get the other $500,000 to come along with it.
It's incredible. It's so heartwarming, and we're so grateful for all the support.
Well, Michelle, we're grateful for the work that you do. Obviously, we're trying to be able to help those families. I appreciate you being with us here this morning. So if you're watching at home, you're saying, okay, I see the need. I want to be able to help. We made it easy as far as how you'll be able to make that donation. You go to theroadhome.org. There you'll be able to find a button. In fact, I probably got mine pulled up from when we were just talking with Michelle about it, that shows you what the webpage looks like. So you have mine right here. So the overall station totals, $530,000 overall. Then all the different radio and TV stations, you can track which ones are raising the most money. So if you have a little friendly competition, you're like, yeah, I'm a big KSL fan. I want to make sure that I'm making sure that KSL is represented for all this stuff. Go ahead and donate. Obviously, that's not even close to the reason why you do it. It's helping these families, but it's even more than that. It's making sure they have a place to go when they need it in their biggest time of need, Lori. And, of course, we'll be out here throughout the day helping to raise that money, get those donations. And hopefully people feeling generous at home want to donate as well, Lori.
Yes, please do. We've got $470,000 more dollars to raise to get that $1 million from the Huntsman family. So we still have quite the day to go. Brian, thanks so much for sharing that with us. We appreciate it. Also this morning, Utah snowpack is not sitting in a great spot at the moment. Statewide, we're about 55% of normal levels. There could still be hope for the rest of the season.
The snowpack usually doesn't peak until about the 1st of April. So at this point, we could have a couple of good storms and get caught up. It wouldn't be a problem. The longer we have these dry conditions, the harder it is going to be to catch up.
Laura Haskell is the drought coordinator at the Utah Division of Water Resources. The one good thing right now, our soil moisture is better than normal, and that can help a lot with the spring runoff and make it more effective. That is when we get snow. She says it's also up to all of us to conserve water where we can. We have some ideas on how to do that on our website, KSLTV.com. All right, let's check back in with Matt Johnson. Matt, you were talking about Christmas Eve, Christmas Day.
Yep.
I'm waiting.
Okay. Well, it's probably going to turn out to be a wet one instead of a white one. We'll get to that in just a moment. But how about St. George last night? Beautiful color, pastels of orange and yellow, even some pink and purple towards the top of your screen. This was sent in from Eldon Griffin. Thanks for sending that in. Okay, high pressure is still down here towards Southern California, and it's actually going to take a trip to the east, but it's going to take several days for that to fully pan out. As it does so, we'll get bits and pieces of energy here in Utah. So Elko to Salt Lake, chance for showers today. That's not till evening. Most of today's cloudy, mild, and a little bit breezy. You've got mountaintop snow going on. Into tomorrow, we've got some valley showers in the morning. By afternoon, I think it breaks up and kind of migrates to the mountaintops. Sunday, you've got another round of rain in the morning most likely, but by afternoon, I think it quiets down and most of the energy moves to the north. How much rain through midnight tonight? Well, a couple of hundreds for Payson, Provo, Springville into Lehigh, but you get north of Salt Lake, hey, you might pick up a tenth, maybe even more than that out towards Logan. Let's add in Saturday. You do another quarter of an inch, maybe a third for most of the Wasatch Front. Not huge totals, but it is something. Now let's fast forward. This is Wednesday, Christmas Eve, 7 p.m. Whoa, I got a storm bearing down from LA to Pocatello. Snow in the mountains. It's a warm one, so it looks like rain. Christmas Day looks like scattered showers. Doesn't look like anything too crazy, especially since it's really warm. But just a heads up, if traveling next week for Christmas, Wednesday and Thursday do look rather wet in the west. Panguitch, 60 degrees. You got mostly clear skies, 62 in Cedar City and St. George. You move into the Wasatch Front. I got a chance for showers in the evening. Temperatures will be very, very mild today. I got a high right now of 59 forecast, but I think we could push past that. Record 61, we might even notch a 62 today. St. George, you'll do that, but not a record for you because it's only 10 above the normal. I've got mid-60s headed into early next week. And then heads up, St. George, even you are looking at some rain on Christmas Eve. Here's a look at the Wasatch Front, 59 to 50, back to 54. Record-breaking warmth likely again Monday and Tuesday. We dial it back to mid-50s with more valley rain and mountain snow for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
All right, Matt, thank you. Americans aren't letting economic uneasiness stop them from hitting the roads, the rails, and the airports for the holidays. AAA forecasting 122 million U.S. travelers will take a trip at least 50 miles from home during the end-of-year holiday travel period. That's up 2.2% from the year before. Airlines for America anticipates domestic airlines will carry 52.6 million passengers between December 19th and January 5th. AAA also saying about 90% of holiday travelers will go by car, thanks to crude oil prices down 20% from this time last year. The national average for a gallon of gas is sitting just below $3. That is the cheapest December at the pump since the end of 2020. Here in Utah, the average price is $2.76 a gallon. The most expensive gasoline to find is in Hawaii with an average of $4.43, while the cheapest is in Oklahoma, averaging around $2.34. The Department of Health and Human Services is reportedly planning to overhaul the schedule of recommended vaccines for children here in this country. According to a source, the proposed new schedule would recommend fewer shots and would bring the U.S. more in line with other developed countries like Denmark. But critics say the United States should not try to model itself after Denmark, a country with just 6 million people. Sources say HHS had planned to make an announcement today, but has since pushed it back to next year. Well, this morning, we're looking out for the good, an effort led by local women who are impacting their own communities. This video posted to the Girls Do the Work Instagram shows the group of women organizing, collecting, and wrapping gifts. The volunteer group organized a toy drive to support struggling local single parents. They say in under 4 weeks, with more than 50 women, they collected nearly 600 brand new toys and helped more than 75 families. The Girls Do the Work group says their goal is local women who want to make sure service feels approachable and social with a real impact. All right, it's going to be a wet, not white Christmas.
Yeah, both start with W, but one's
very different.
Yeah, very, very different from each other. And the reason being, it is so warm, and the storm that's coming in for Christmas Eve, it's a warm one. All right, we got clouds overhead, a little bit of a breeze out there, and that's keeping temperatures very, very warm. Your cloud cover extends all the way through most of Utah. A couple of showers up towards the Idaho border right now. 57 in Salt Lake City. That's incredible because the normal high for the day is 38. 19 above the normal. I got 44 in Logan, 34 in Blanding. Forecast for today, this may need to be bumped up. Forecasting 59, that's only 2 degrees away from what it is right now. We'll likely break a record yet again.
Thank you. A Utah family setting out to make a hashtag go viral, and not for the money or notoriety, but simply to bring happiness to their daughter who has Rett syndrome. Becca Whitmer is 18, and earlier this year, with her parents' help, she started posting a question, one a week, online to get interaction with others and as a way to use social media to be social. For Christmas, they decided to expand this effort. So Becca speaks through a communication device, so every word for her is intentional, and she put out this challenge.
So here's my question to you. If you could describe your 2025 in one word, what would it be?
For her parents, Brian Whitmer, he chose changed. Paula said blessings, her mom. Becca's is chocolate, not because she loves it, which she does, but because it describes a sweet year. If you'd like to post your word, use the hashtag one word for 2025. I think mine would be grateful. Thank you so much for joining us on this segment of KSL News Now. We leave you on this Friday morning with a look at Salt Lake City. The days continue to get shorter until winter officially arrives at 8:03 in the morning this Sunday. Have a great day, everyone.